you all? I hope you're all really good. Welcome back to my channel. Usually when I film these videos I'm like, I can't believe we're already around to this, but it actually feels like ages ago since I did my last monthly reading wrap up. So here is all the books I read in September. So my pile of books looks really small, but I did actually manage to read 8 books this month. It's just because I read a lot of them before I came off to university, then I don't have physical copies of a lot of the books I've read a few audiobooks and things like that as well, so I don't have physical copies of those. But yeah, I read 8 books this month, which I was really delighted with. Some amazing books too. I'm actually really struggling with my favourite of the month. I think I'm going to have to go for a joint, because I actually have thought about it. Usually I get to the end of the video and I realise that I haven't given it any consideration whatsoever and I don't have a clue, but I think I know where I'm going to go, but I'm just going to have to go with 2 books because I can't decide. So the first book I read this month was Little Monsters by Kara Thomas. This is my absolute favourite like micro genre of books. I love YA thrillers set in boarding schools with rich entitled children, usually when there's a murder or a missing person or something, and it's like, I just absolutely love it. I eat it up every single time. It's like copy and paste plot, go for it. This was really good. I read The Cheerleaders by Kara Thomas years ago and I really enjoyed it, and so I think I must have bought this maybe about that time. It's been sitting on my TBR for years. Finally got around to reading it. It was amazing. I devoured it. I certainly read it really quickly. I really enjoyed it. It was a 5-star. I would highly recommend her books. They're just so quick, so exciting, really unpredictable. Yeah, they're amazing. Then I read Everyman by Philip Roth. This was a 3-star. I really wanted to like it. I tried my very hardest to enjoy it. It's not the type of book I usually read, so I was trying to be adventurous. I was trying to try something a bit different. It's really highly acclaimed and I can see why. I think if you were to study it and like devote time and attention to properly dissecting it and understanding the meaning behind it, I think it could be a really special book. But in terms of just reading it for pure enjoyment value, I didn't quite get that. But that was totally my own fault. I was the one that decided, oh, usually I don't really read books like this, usually I don't really enjoy books like this, and I read it. But it was fine. It was a 3-star. I still did enjoy it, it just wasn't quite my type of book. If you like the sort of book, go for it. Then I read The Butterfly Assassin by Finn Longman. It was the biggest 5 stars. I always talk on here and on my Bookstagram all the time, even outside of the book community. My family and friends are bored of it, about how much I love YA dystopia. And some of my favourite books of all time are like Divergent series, Hunger Games series. I can't think of any other like high ranking dystopia books right now, but anyway, I absolutely love things like that, and it breaks my heart that the genre's died out. There are still some incredible dystopia writers such as Jen Woodrum, who's an indie author who I absolutely love, and now that I have discovered Finn Longman as well, their books are amazing. They have actually just sent me a copy of their the 3rd book in their trilogy, and it's absolutely made my day. I will be reading it very soon. I need to get the 2nd book so that I can read the 3rd book. But this book was so good. I don't even have words to describe it. I was just like obsessed with it. You know when you just read a book and you're like, I actually can't explain how like shocked I am at how amazing it is. I've never seen it anywhere before. It had been sitting on my TBR for ages. Forgot about it, refound it, was like, oh, that sounds really good. There was a reason I bought it. Read it, was like, what just happened? Don't get attached to characters. It's not a spoiler, but the plot twists just keep on coming out of absolutely nowhere. You can't keep up, but in the best possible way. I just couldn't put it down. It was so exciting. I loved the characters, I loved the plot, I loved the setting. I cannot wait to read the next books in the series. Then I read Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. I'm not sure how to pronounce their name. I'm really, really sorry for the butchering that I just did there. I don't have a physical copy of this one anyway. The rest of them is because I read them all at home, but this one I read on audiobook on Spotify. It was good. It was a 4-star. This is one that I've seen all over Bookstagram and all over the book community and gone, wow, people really, really like this book. But I'm like, no, it's not for me. It's not for me. It's not the type of books I read. And then I was going through Spotify trying to find an audiobook, and I was like, oh, that's always one that I've been curious about. So I did read it. It was good. I struggled with it being an audiobook. I find this a lot with audiobooks, is especially a book like that, it's complicated in terms of the narrative shifts and in terms of the complexity of characters. So I struggled to keep track of characters, and I struggled to like work out at what point in the story we are. It's fine if I read an audiobook. Usually I end up reading an audiobook over a long period of time, so I do sort of lose it a little bit. So I'm a bit disconnected from the story I find with an audiobook, apart from the one I'm currently reading just now. But that is nothing to do with this video. So I did really enjoy it. I think it's got beautiful, beautiful sentiment to it, and I think it's beautifully written. I read it at the start of the month, so it's a while ago, but I do remember it being like really, really heartwarming and touching and really, really clever. And I think it's such a beautiful concept, and like the message that came through in it was really, really lovely. So it wasn't standout for me, but I wonder if maybe if I'd read it in the physical copy it might have been, but for me it was a good 4-star. I was about to start talking to you about this book, but then I remembered I've got it. I've actually got a beautiful, beautiful copy of it. It's the collector's edition. It's signed. It's got these gorgeous, gorgeous covers, and these beautiful end papers. So this is The Midnight Feast by Lucy Foley. I love Lucy Foley's writing. Her thrillers are just absolutely fantastic. The plot twists are amazing. I can never predict them. And as soon as you think, oh, that's it, right, I've worked it out, you know, that must be all that there is, she just keeps going. They just don't stop, and that's my favourite thing about a thriller. You know, there's none of this waiting around and then there's a bit of action and then waiting around again. No, it's just constant action, action, action. I really enjoyed this. I loved the setting of it. I enjoyed the flashbacks and the way that you get chapters from different people's point of views in the past and the present. It was a 4-star. I don't quite remember why it was a 5. I think I read it over a while, and I think if I had like binge read it, if I had read it all at once, then I think I would have like properly loved it. I don't think there was anything wrong with it. I was like, you know when you just finish a book and you're like, well, if I'm debating it being a 5-star, then it's not a 5-star. So it was really, really close to being a 5-star, but it was a very, very strong 4. And if you are a thriller reader, definitely go and read some Lucy Foley. And if you're not a thriller reader, then she's a good one to start with. Then I read, I don't know why all of these are hardbacks, then I read The First to Die at the End by Adam Silvera. I actually read this as part of the video reading only emotional books for a week. Not a good idea, and I wasn't very successful, but it's on my booktube if you want to go and see that. There's basically it's basically a reading vlog of me reading this and the first 100 pages of Girl in Pieces. I really, really, really loved this. I read this really, really quickly, considering it's quite a chunky book. Like, sprinted through it. It was a huge 5-star. I love Adam Silvera's writing. In fact, there was one I read that was just like fine. I enjoyed it, but his They Both Die at the End and The First Die at the End series is impeccable. You can't beat it. I sobbed my heart out. I talk about this when I'm reading it, but I love the way that you've got your main characters and you've got your chapters from the main characters, but you've also got these tiny side characters, some of which are important, some of which are not, but they are all interconnected with one another. Again, sometimes they know this, sometimes they don't, but the way that it like comes together, it's just this gorgeous, gorgeous like intertwining of humanity and these characters' lives, and it just weaves this like beautiful, beautiful web of all these characters and how all of their lives mean something to everybody. It's very philosophical. but all in all, it's just a really emotional book. It's the fact also that this book is one day. This covers one single day, like one set of 24 hours. It's gorgeous. I love the characters. They're absolutely traumatized, but I love the characters. I love the romance. I love everything about this book. It broke my heart, but it was entirely worth it. I mean, you know what you're getting. I remember when I read They Both Die at the End, and I was so heartbroken because I did not think it possible that they would both die at the end. I remember being like, well, what did you expect, Kirsty? He literally told you that that was what was going to happen. They're sad books. Okay, I'm really excited about this next one. Then I read The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This was the biggest 5 stars. Oh my word. My newest obsession. I'm gonna go and read every single one of these books afterwards. This is my type of book. This is actually very similar to the type of genre and the type of books that I like to write, and I absolutely love reading them. You don't often get books like this. If you've got any recs similar to this, please give them to me because I need them like right now. I enjoyed her Inheritance Game series. It was good, but I didn't love it as much as everybody said I was going to. I particularly didn't love the love triangle. This love triangle is beautiful. Hate love triangles. As a general rule, I don't like them apart from the Hunger Games love triangle, but in this it's so beautifully done that I'm totally fine with it. I actually really liked the romance in it. I loved the characters, I loved the plot. I read this all in one sitting. I was up until like 2 AM reading this because I couldn't put it down. It was impeccable. I don't know why this hasn't gotten more hype. I have seen it on the book community, but not as much as I should have. I'm gonna go and read the rest of the series, and I so hope that it lives up to the hype. Like, lives up to the hype this book has set for the rest of the series. This is one of my favourite books of all time now, and that's all I have to say. And then, so you'll notice that that's only 7 books. I did technically read the Toyne. I read the Thomas Kinsella translation. I'll put a picture up here. What I've decided is, so obviously I had to read this as part of one of the courses I'm studying in university at the minute. So obviously it's not a book I decided that I wanted to read, but I feel like it still counts towards my reading goal. Partly because reading books like that mean I can't read books I want to read, so the reading goal is struggling. But I feel like it counts. You know, my Goodreads goal is how many books I've read in a year, and that is a book that I've read. So I don't feel like it's fair to rate it, so I'm not going to give you a star rating. I'm not going to give you a voiced rating. I'm not going to give you really any of my thoughts about it because I don't feel like I can kind of judge it. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I hope it does, because yeah, I don't have a better way of saying it. So technically that counts towards the books I've read in the month, but I had to read it for uni. Okay, so as I said at the start, I have got 2 favourites of this month, and you can't make me choose. So it's The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes and The Butterfly Assassin by Finn Longman. They were both, I'm completely obsessed with them both. Need to go and read the rest of the series. They are both just those books that you finish reading them and you go, right, that's it. They're one of my favourites of all time. You know, they're cemented in that Hall of Fame. And you can't change that. You can't change my mind about that. So I had a few like close ones after those, but these 2 books, impeccable. If you take anything from my channel and this video, read these books, please and thank you. You will not regret it. But anyway, that brings us to the end of this video. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to like or subscribe, that would honestly mean so much, but the fact that you're still here, it means a lot. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you all soon for another video.